Hey everybody, it's Mark Yagi. Welcome to another weekly Market Pulse. Hope you're doing well. Today is May 8th. Hope you're awesome. And hopefully you're making money in the market because this is one of those markets where you should be. We are green. So I'm going to show you in a second why we're green, but we are green and we've been green for, I don't know, 3, 4 weeks now. And there are tons of stock making all-time highs. So if you're sitting on the sidelines like, oh man, the market's too high or the market's, I'm still not convinced, or there's a war or whatever, I try to give you these weekly reports to kind of give you an idea of what's going up and when the market is fertile for buying. You don't have to listen to me, but you're here, so you might as well. But it's just information, right? But generally, this market timing system that I have kind of gives you the pulse. That's why it's called the market pulse, the pulse on what's going on with the market. And sometimes we need that because the market doesn't always do what we think it's going to do. In fact, it rarely does. And so let me just show you what we've got. We've got a green market, and I'll show you why it's green. Let me find the right slides here. Here we go. Um, and we have, this is some of the stuff we just talked about. Okay, so this was last week. You can see last week we had a yellow market. We're just coming out of a yellow market, but we had two greens and two red lights. Coming out of a yellow market, we were green, but two greens and two red lights. So not completely convincing. So it's understandable that you were on the sidelines, but now we've got four green lights showing, right? Everything's kind of lining up. Now, it doesn't feel that strong, but who cares what it feels like, right? The system, my genius timing system, is telling us that this market is green. And so green means that's when you plant things. You plant them, when it's red, that's when you harvest them. But the market is generally green. I'm going to talk about something else. Uh, okay, so you could see that Nasdaq's at an all-time high, right? Highly tech-oriented. If you're in tech stocks, you know what I'm talking about. The S&P 500, all-time high, right? You can see that there. All right, the Dow Jones, not an all-time high. So the Dow Jones is showing a little tiny bit of weakness. I mean, comparatively, it's still right near the all-time highs, but it's just not pushing them like the technologies are. And the same thing with the New York Stock Exchange. The volatility index has come down a lot, which means the panic has come out of the market quite a bit, which is nice, right? It feels good when panic's out of the market because people want to invest. And Apple, which I've been talking about, if you've been watching me, I say it every week, like Apple's doing something here. Apple's getting ready to go up the right side of this consolidation. And today, Apple is in the breakout area. Apple's breaking out. Now, we'll see by the end of the day if this is good volume, but right now it's 42% of its average daily volume, 40%, 42% more than its average daily volume, which is a good, stamp of approval by the volume gods on Apple. So Apple, for some reason, is moving higher. They had good numbers, whatever. They got a dividend coming up next week. Whatever it is, Apple is in the breakout zone. NVIDIA also was in the breakout zone. If you've been waiting, because this thing has been consolidating for months, like 4 months, and if you were waiting for this thing to kind of set up for you, well, if you're looking at that 212, it's kind of in the buy zone. If you're looking at this cup pattern, you kind of missed it. And so that's why we try to do these things. I know a lot of you don't believe in chart reading, but chart reading is only a printout of emotions, right? Every one of these lines is an emotional line. There's a buyer and a seller that are losing money or making money, and you can see how amplified that is based on the volume here at the bottom. So that's why I talk about it, because chart reading to me is so important. It's not everything. The fundamentals are important too, but sometimes the stock goes down when the fundamentals are awesome, right? You're going to see some stocks here. I mean, NVIDIA, why didn't it go? I mean, it was at 164, a month ago, and here it is at 217. Fundamentals didn't really change, right? They didn't change at all. Like nothing changed in the company, but the stock is yet up, 50 points. So, it's not always the PE ratios and the fundamentals. Sometimes you got to see what's going on the chart. And I've been talking about that one too. Tesla has been in a downtrend. It's trying to buck this little downtrending line, and it's doing a good job of it. It's back up over the 50. It's got a lot of days in a row that are up, but none of them are on high strength volume. So it's a little suspect. I think 435 is about where I've drawn my lines on this one. And I don't see a lot more power after 435, but this is just probabilities talking from the patterns that I've been seeing over the years. So Tesla is, trying to go up, make a right side of some kind of consolidation pattern. we'll see how well it does. It's got a lot of sellers to get through, I can tell you that. Micron, on the other hand, 98 relative strength. This thing to me, a lot of people are comparing Micron with AMD. I'd rather have Micron. Micron's got a little bit lower PE. Not that I consider that a big deal, but this stock is at an all-time high, coming off this 455, and now the stock is 717, right? So you got to pay attention when these break out because sometimes these things can make wicked moves, and that's what's going on right now. Speaking of wicked moves, AMD is now up 60 something percent in like 3 weeks from the breakout point. And so, we've got a lot going on in this sector, the chip sector, the AI play, the energy play. All these things are tying in together, and this thing's at an all-time high. It's a good time to be in the market right now, I can tell you. But there will be a day when a stock like this, which is basically going parabolic, reverses, and that'll be a tough day for you if you're long. So don't be trying to chase into this thing, up 61%. That's what a lot of people are doing here. And I don't want to see you, because you listen here, I don't want to see you get hurt. So please don't be chasing this. But it is strong right now. So hopefully you're already in it. Bloom Energy, kind of the same thing. It's just basically a week ago that we were talking about Bloom Energy making all-time highs, and they were up 67% from that breakout spot at 181. And now they're coming back to fill in some gaps here and make some technical corrections, and that's fine. Still very healthy with a 98 relative strength. GE Aerospace finally getting back above the 50-day moving average, looking a little bit more positive with a gap up 3 days ago, and now holding the 50. Let's hope it stays there, and the turbine cells start happening again. S&P 500 gold shares, these are below the 50. There's something going on in gold, though. I think it's an inflationary play with the new Fed chairman. You could see it's kind of back up. It's trying to want to maybe possibly think about joking about going over the 50. But right now, it's not a buy because it's under the 50. I don't like to buy stuff under the 50, although I do have some of this GLD that I bought before some of these things, and I've just been doing covered calls on them every couple of days. So if you want to learn how to just have an asset and sell calls and create income from it, that's what we do here at the Cash Flow Machine. So I'd love to talk to you about that. Anyway, SanDisk, another one of those winners. It's in the #1 industry group. It's going higher. Anything that has to do with an AI data center, and these guys make the hard drives and the SSD, the solid state drives, all-time high on that one. Intel, government put in, about 10% of the company back down in here. And boy, has that paid off, right? So our government finally making some money on one of its investments. That's kind of cool. The stock has basically doubled here in the last few weeks. Unbelievable 99 relative strength rating. But it's also a little bit parabolic. It's a tough time to short it, but it might give you signs soon. Broadcom is not able to generate a lot of volume to break through this pivot area, this buy area, but it isn't a buy area. It's not weak. It's setting up for a buy. It just needs a little bit more volume. Probably going to make a handle here at some point, but it's a pretty high handle. So, I think at some point it may just bang around in here until it finally takes off. Who knows? Maybe it's a failed breakout. Hims and hers, don't touch this one. You could tell this one looks different, right? This is just one of those stocks that's been going down for a while, and it can't even get out of its own way when it goes up for a while. So the stock's back at 26 bucks, and it was up a lot higher than that a year ago. Same thing with Robinhood. This thing has got everybody thought they could double and triple, quadruple their money this year, and this thing's just got horrible relative strength, and it's going against you. And even when it did make these bounces, it can't hold them. So there's a lot of weakness here. Palantir, and I'll end it on this one. I don't want to end it on this one, but this is one of my told you so stocks because 6-8 months ago everybody was telling me how great this company is, and I said don't buy late stage base. Here we were in a 5th stage base, this little cup pattern, and people were buying this high, right? This as they were coming into this high, and it made a double top pattern here, and it never got back up to 198. In fact, the stock is right now at 135. That's a big loss. You can love a company, but man, it takes you a long time to get back to 198 when there's all these sellers that are just like, oh man, I bought it here at 150 and it went to 126. If it just gets back to 150, I'm going to sell it. Well, that's a seller. That's selling pressure here, right? And so that needs a lot of work to take out all these sellers. This all happened in a very short period of time. The volume wasn't huge, but it was a late stage space. It was prone to correction. That's all I ever talk about here is probabilities. I have no idea if a stock's going up or down. I could just tell you I read a lot of charts, and when I see things repeat, it gives me a signal one way or the other. I shorted this. I got out of my short too early, but I made some good money on the short. And I wish I'd have just stayed in a couple more days because we had a big down day a couple of days ago. Now the stock's at 135. I was shorting the stock at 145. The Philadelphia Semi Index, as you can see, just like all the other stocks, make this go higher or this makes the stocks go higher. Depends on which, but the index is at an all-time high today. Parabolic, so it could come back down, and if it does, I expect a 50% retracement on that. These are the top industry groups. Let's leave it on this one. This is now finally an optimistic way to leave it. Here are the top groups, guys. Out of the top 10, only one of them is not in technology. Okay, sorry, two. These transportation companies, oil, gas, shipping, transportation, shipping, everything else is semiconductors, electronics, telecom, scientific, all tech, right? So that's the theme. Now, one last thing I'll leave you with, if you look over here, this is the change year to date. Year to date's only 4 months, right? We're in early April, so really only 4 months. But when you are in the right industry, guys, you get 125% return, right? If you're selling covered calls, you're probably not going to get that because you're capping your upside, but you make income on the way up. So you might get a lot of that. Electronics and contract manufacturing, 65%, 55, 61, 122. This is just in 4 months, right? Whether you believe it or not, we have a ripping market right now. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. It might end on Monday. But right now we have a ripping market. So if you're in the right industries and you're in the right stocks in those industries, I'll show you one more slide. Here is that computer periphery index. It's at an all-time high, and the best stocks are Dell, Micron, Seagate, and SanDisk. Two of the stocks I just talked about, and SEMO is up there too, right? So when you're in the right stock in the right market and you're at the right spot on the chart and you're in the right industry, you're not certain, but you're getting the probabilities in your favor. And that's really all we can hope for, is to try to get the probabilities in our favor so that we have higher probabilities of making money and that's what covered calls do, right? They give you a little bit extra edge of making money, even if the stock does nothing. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks always for joining me here on the Market Pulse, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.